Hello everyone, this is Howard Zolte, and today we are going to be going through one of the easiest grant applications that you will ever fill out. And this application is the ING Unsung Heroes application, and it's for $2,000, and it's available to any full-time educator. They could be teachers, principals, paraprofessionals, classified staff, and it's for $2,000, and there'll be 100 winners, so 100 people will win the $2,000 grant, and the three top grant proposals, they will be winning even more than that. So there is a $5,000 prize, a $10,000, and a $25,000 grant available to the top three grant applications. So let's quickly go through this grant application. It's really easy, just a few screens to fill out. And as we mentioned, you just need to be a full-time educator, teacher, principal, paraprofessional, or classified staff. You need to be teaching in a K through 12 public or private school in the United States. So there are a large number of people that are eligible for this grant. So the first thing we need to do is go to the grant website, and you can either search on it under the term Unsung Heroes, ING, or you can go to the URL unsungheroes.scholarshipamerica.org. Either way you get to it, you'll set up a user ID, and that's really easy. Just choose an 8-character user ID, choose a password, and you're really all set. So we've already done that, so let's go on to the application, and here we go. So this first screen is super simple. Just fill in your name, address, city, zip, your phone numbers, both home and work, your email addresses, home and work, and also how'd you hear about this program? And just click one of those. Okay, that was the easiest page so far. Click Save and Continue. Now on the next page, you just have to put in your school information. For example, school name, district name, addresses, the school phone number. Actually, that's optional. School phone number and fax are optional. If you have a classroom or school website, you might want to put that. That's not required. Then type of school. Is it elementary, middle, or high school? And your title. Are you a teacher, principal, or other job title? And how many kids are enrolled in that school? And the next thing you need to do is just fill in the name and job title, phone number, and email address of your supervisor. Simple as that. Once you're done with that, just hit Save and Continue, and you'll go on to the next page. Now you're on the project information page. It's very, very simple, and there's not much to fill out. But one thing that's really important on this page, it's actually the most important page in your application. And the reason for that is this is really the first page that most grant reviewers are actually looking at. So they're quickly looking at your project title and your project summary. That is the key to getting a high rating on any grant application, making it really easy for the grant reviewer to go through this, okay? And what you want to do is you want to give your project a really good title, and obviously you only have 30 characters to do it with, but something that will catch their attention. So this section is probably one of the most important fields that you'll be filling out. And then go through whatever grade level the project will be serving and the class size. Now you're down to the project summary. And that's a really quick 5 to 8 sentences. You only have about 200 words or 1,000 characters. So you have to get straight to the point. So this is where you need to say, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? And how will it benefit the students? Simple as that. And this part is really easy, although what I do recommend is that once you complete it, move on to the other sections, and before you submit, if you have some extra time, go back to this section, reread it, and just make sure it's clear, effective, and answers those 3 questions very well, because that's really the key to the entire application is right there. Okay, so this page was the most important page, and now you're ready to move on to the next one. And this page is a project description, so you can go into more detail about the objectives, and also talk a little bit about how the project is new or different, or anything unique about the project. What would really interest the grant reviewer? Since you only have about 2,000 characters, your space is limited, so you need to be concise. And what usually works best is to put your most important information right at the top. Usually the easier you make it for the grant reviewer to find the information very quickly, that usually leads to a higher score on the grant evaluation form. So that's just something to consider. So now that you've completed the project description, let's move on to the next page. So in 2,000 characters or less, here's where you explain what the benefit will be to the students. The two important questions that you really need to answer. First, how is it going to improve student learning? And second, how are you going to evaluate the effectiveness of your project? For example, let's say that you want to improve student learning by providing differentiated instruction using technology. And maybe an example might be a reading program, an online reading program. So students could have access to online leveled readers that are matched to their reading ability. They can access it from school, from home. There'll be a wide selection of books that they have access to. And as for the evaluation of the effectiveness, many of the programs are automatically tracking the progress of the students. So you get built-in tracking of the effectiveness of your project with something like that. And there are a lot of other examples we could go through. The main point is to think about projects that can benefit student learning and also having an easy way to measure the effectiveness of the project. Now we get to move on to the fun part of the application. What would you actually do with the $2,000 if you were awarded that grant? What would you spend it on? And even more interesting, if you were to win $5,000, $10,000, $25,000 as part of this grant, what would you do with that extra funding? So this is where you get to talk about how you would spend the grant. So this section is really a short narrative. And the reason I mention that is actually the next section is where you list the items line by line. So let's move on to the next page. And this is where you go into detail about what you want to spend the grant on and how much each item costs. So the first thing that you'll notice is that there are only 4 lines to describe the items. You only have 4 items you can put on there. So you may need to summarize some items together. And so put the name of what the item is right here in each of the fields. And then put the dollar cost right next to it. Now, one thing a lot of people forget about is always remember, if it's applicable, add sales tax and shipping costs. A lot of people forget about that. So that's very important to include. So once you've filled in all the blanks for the $2,000 grant, the next step is to think about what would you do if you were awarded $5,000. So next thing that we do is to click on the Add the Next Award Budget. So we'll do that right here. And what you will see is you've got the exact same form, but here you've got the $5,000 award. So just fill in the blanks over here and the prices. And then, of course, we move on to the next section. $10,000. So what would you do with the $10,000 grant? What would you purchase and how much would it cost? And then we go on to the final one, the $25,000 award. And here we go. Here you'd fill in the blanks and the costs. Once you've done that, save and continue. And we're basically done with the application. So all that you need to do is enter your name in this applicant field, put the date in the date field, and then hit save and continue. And that's it. You've completed the application. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the best of luck in winning the grant for your school or classroom.